Greetings, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something that almost everybody experiences: fear. Now, imagine, imagine this. You're sitting still in a cold, dark room, almost pitch black. Your heart starts beating faster and faster, and your mind begins imagining scary things. Sounds terrifying, right? Well, that ever happened to me. Even though it was scary, it taught me something very important about fear. When I was 9 years old, I was home alone with my little brother. It was just the two of us when suddenly the power went out. Everything became dark instantly. At that time, both me and my little brother were extremely afraid of the dark. For a few seconds, we froze. The silence in the house felt heavy, and every tiny sound seemed scary. My little brother looked terrified, and honestly, so was I. My imagination immediately started creating scary thoughts. I wondered if there was something hiding in the dark, or if nobody would ever come home soon. Fear spread through my mind very quickly. At first, I wanted to stay in my room forever because it felt safer there. But then I looked at my little brother and realized something important. If I panicked too, things would only get worse for both of us. So I tried my best to calm down. I took a deep breath, grabbed my little brother's hand, and carefully walked downstairs. Even though I was still scared, I forced myself to think clearly. So I opened the front doors and I called for help from my neighbors. Luckily, they heard us and they told us to call our parents immediately, which was exactly what we did next. After a while, the electricity finally came back and I felt so relieved. Later, when I was thinking about that experience again, I realized something important. Fear itself was not actually the real problem. The real problem would be letting fear completely control me. When when I was younger, I used to think fear like a giant wall blocking my path to success. I thought fear only stopped people from doing things. But now I think differently. Now I think fear is more like a step. It may look intimidating, but if you step over it, you can continue moving forward and get stronger afterwards. Fear can actually help us grow. For example, many students are afraid of making mistakes in class. Maybe the teacher asks a question and you actually know the answer, but you stay silent because you are afraid of being wrong. Some students even stop trying completely because they are afraid people will laugh at them. But avoiding mistakes does not help us improve. Making mistakes is part of learning, and if nobody ever made mistakes, nobody would ever become smarter. Think about it this way: if you never answer questions because you're scared of, to do so, what do you gain from that? Probably nothing, right? But what happens when you try answering questions more often, even if your answer is not perfect? You get more confident, and you're more active, and most importantly, you learn. Sometimes fear tells us to hide, but growth happens when we choose to participate instead. I'm not saying overcoming fear is easy. It takes courage, practice, and sometimes failing a few times before becoming better. And every time you face fear, instead of running away from it, you become stronger than afterwards. I think most people believe that brave people uh, don't feel afraid, but I disagree. Brave people feel fear too. The difference is they just won't let fear stop them completely. Fear will always exist in life. Before a test, before competition, before speaking in front of other people, or before trying something new. Fear will probably appear. But maybe fear is not there to stop us. Maybe fear is there to test whether we are willing to grow. So today, I want to leave you with one question. Will you let fear control your life, or will you learn how to step past it? Because fear is not always a wall. Sometimes fear is the very first step for you becoming stronger, smarter, and braver than before. Bye.